Hello and welcome to PPC Live The Podcast, formerly known as PPC Chat Roundup. My name is Anu, the founder of PPC Live. And if you're used to hearing from the PPC experts about how to ensure that we are keeping up with the ever-changing landscape, don't worry, you are still in the right place. But instead of relaying what the PPC experts are saying, I'm bringing the PPC experts to you. Every week, I'm speaking to a different PPC expert about their biggest F-up and things that have gone wrong, also how they've turned things around. So that's why it's about turning F-ups into triumphs. This week, I have the pleasure of speaking to Dave Alexander of Impression, who have been doing some great work for several years now. And Dave has been with the company for over 4 years now. And he's worked on some great clients, and he started from a junior role to leading a team. And he speaks about a recent, and that was able to surprise to me because most other experts have spoke about past mistakes, but he speaks about a recent mistake that happened this summer and just how they turned it around, what type of mistake it was, and the importance of pausing before you respond to a client. That when you see a mistake, making sure that you calm the panic that, inevitably, come up and try and bubble to the surface, and how it's important not to, lose your cool, not to question yourself, not to start thinking that, oh Lord, you're a failure. And you're not a failure. A mistake does not mean you're a failure. It just means that you now need to think fast, but also think patiently about how to communicate, what to communicate to the client so that you recover this issue. He talks about how, yes, at the beginning, the client was not happy, but now the client is happy. They know that they are in control, that the agency, that Dave and his team are in control of the account, and they have nothing to worry about. So yeah, let's go delve into this issue and take some great tips on how to really bounce back from a mistake like this. So let's go speak to Dave. Hey, Dave. Welcome to PPC Live, the podcast.
Hey Annie, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's tenuous right now. I like being honest with my audience. I literally just got back from holiday like hours ago. We're talking maybe like 4 or 5 hours ago, just getting off a plane, heading back from Gatwick Airport to get to London. And thankfully, I- you know, I I'm very grateful that when Dave was booking this, I remember when you were booking it and I was on holiday and my brain was like, okay, he's booked it a day, I'm coming back. But I was like, God, what time? Because if you book it at 9 a.m., we've got to cancel, cancel. But was booked for the afternoon, loved it. And I was like, yeah, I'll be recovered by then. So very, very delighted to have you on the podcast, Dave. So for those who don't know, Dave Alexander works for Impression Digital, award-winning Impression Digital. They've done some amazing stuff. I can definitely say award-winning. I've been at those award events. I'd seen
Yeah.
them win against some like really great agencies, in our field. They've been doing some great work for a long time. But Dave himself is an experienced digital marketing professional, especially specializing in Google Ads and account and project management. He also has experience in managing website builds, social media, and email campaigns. So quite a lovely wide range skill set then in the world of digital marketing. In terms of his fun facts, I really loved it. In a previous life, just before he sold his soul to the world of marketing, he actually represented Great Britain twice in a karate tournament around the age of 17, 18. So yeah, I was saying Dave might come across very like lovely and mild mannered, but don't piss him off. He knows. He knows how to strike a blow. He knows how to, get a kick in. And then he had a bit of a basketball coaching career, but wasn't quite as lucrative as he'd liked it to be. So yeah, he then switched on into marketing. Between the karate and the coaching,
hmm
if like money was no object, which one would you go back to?
Blimey. It's got to be the basketball, to
It's
be
gonna be
honest.
basketball. Yeah, you
Yeah,
liked
yeah.
it.
I think the karate was great, but it is very much you as an individual and how you do. Basketball it's all about a team.
Yeah,
I do really enjoy the team side of
the
things.
team size of things. Oh, fantastic! That sounds great. Yeah, so he's a team player. Not surprising because he's here with us to talk to our fantastic PPC Live team and community about an F-up that he's made. But as I keep on saying, we never leave on the defeated note. This is talking about how he turned it around, how he's still trusted with his client. I'm very also grateful for this story because as much as a lot of our previous guests have told stories, like they don't want to tell stories of like recent mistakes. They've told story about way back. Dave is actually going to tell us of something quite recent and how they're getting back on their feet on it, how their client is still sticking with them. So yeah, without further ado, take it away, Dave. What effort would you like to share with us today?
Yeah. So this one is, as you say, very, very recent. Last few months has happened. So we have a large retail client that we deal with, and we run quite a detailed and quite in-depth PMAX structure for themselves, and just because the wide product range that they have. So we run a structure, it's called like a zombie structure, which I'm sure people at home after this want to look into this, you can speak to Google, or it's quite widely documented online as well. They will send you the scripts and the structures on how to kind of implement this on accounts. But basically with PMAX, as we all know, it's very greedy for conversion value. So whatever the high performing products are, it will naturally go after those more than the rest of the product set. So as a result, we can often see particularly campaigns that are running over a large number of products that it will forget or neglect, if you like, the large majority, and it will probably only push budget or majority of through kind of top 5% of products. So to stop this from happening and making sure that all your products get seen, you can use a zombie script as Google has coined it. We refer to it as non-converting rather than zombie, just because it feels a bit gimmicky. So we have this script which basically says if this product hasn't converted in the last 30 days, it drops it down into a second campaign, which is the non-converting one, so that we can give it a separate ROAS target, slightly different budget, so that it can start to get traffic back through those products. So you ensure that all your product range is regularly getting seen and regularly getting sold. So it increases that share. The issue we had is we have the structure in place. It works perfectly. We see incremental sales month on month. The client came to us and said, right, this particular brand, we want to push this more than kind of the other brands at the moment because we've got some excellent pricing at the moment. So like, cool, yeah, we can do that. What we'll do is we'll break it out of the current structure into its own standalone brand campaign. It'll still sit within the structure in terms of the flow, but we won't get, we can kind of set separate targets for it, separate budget. So we set this up, start of the summer, great, not a problem, got sales through it, it's all good. A couple of weeks later, obviously, other client demands come in, other things happen on the account, it's quite a large account, so it's quite easy to get those little blind spots. And unfortunately, this campaign fell into one of those blind spots for us. So sales started to drop off. And as that happens, less and less products were staying within that campaign.
Right.
Client then come to us and said, oh, sales starts dropping that brand again. Could you look into it? So I was like, no worries, we'll have a look. So we jumped in, and all of a sudden we've gone from what should have been a product set of almost 50 different items, we were down to 4. Because all of those products had not sold, so they dropped out of the campaign but weren't being added back into it.
No.
So we've got a load of campaigns that now aren't serving in any campaign.
Okay.
So yeah, so obviously big issue. So obviously we diagnosed it, we went, right, okay, this is kind of where that fallout has happened. So we moved that brand back into the main campaign. Once we've done that, we started to see sales coming back through. So, problem effectively solved. And obviously, it took a couple of days for the learnings to happen and for the bid strategy to readjust back to those that brand. Yeah, all back in and working. As a result, kind of what we did as a team to go, this was an effort. We've now got reports in place to give us a SKU count every day of how many SKUs are in each campaign.
Yeah.
So we can see where the balance is. So we've got the base campaign, which is the one that is just the day-to-day selling, the where we want SKUs to be.
Yeah.
And then we have the non-converting campaign as well, so we can see where the balance is between the two.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think it was a case of over segmenting products.
Right. Okay. So what I love about this podcast right now for me personally is because I've not been in the Google Ads UI in years. So I mean, people are now really teaching me again how these whole campaign structure, how do you set things up, what will happen if you don't do X or Y or Z kind of things. Even things that were not mistake. I'm like, oh, okay, so that's how that works. And even this one, I'm really trying to get my head around to be fair, what went wrong specifically? Because the campaign was supposed to be targeted in a certain way where all the, so it's to set a goal towards it. Is that right? Or it was originally in the zombie campaign, but it shouldn't have been, kind of thing.
Yeah. So basically we've got the base campaign, which is the normal PMAX campaign.
Yeah.
Below that, we have the zombie campaign. So the products that haven't sold in the last 30 days.
Right.
They drop into that. Once they sell, they come back up into the base campaign.
Sure. Okay.
What we did in this situation is we had a separate base campaign, if you like, for one brand within that category.
Sure.
So the products were all over here in the separate one, the brand.
Yeah.
They were not selling, so they should have come through into the zombie campaign.
Yeah.
But that link wasn't happening.
Okay.
So they were not selling, so therefore the label changed for the product, and it then didn't have anywhere to go.
Okay, because you didn't create a zombie category for it. Okay. All right. Okay. And then, because then the zombie category will then have a setting of if then the sale comes back on, it'll push it back into campaign. And that wasn't happening. All right.
So so it's breaking the loop.
Yeah. There was a break in the loop. Oh gosh. So how did the client react specifically? Were they quite pissed off by it? Are they still a bit in a touchy situation with you guys?
As of today, all happy.
Okay.
Problems fixed, sales back up, and we're good. At the time, not good. So obviously not happy. It's a brand that they've asked us to push more budget through, which is why we separated it out so we could ring fence that to generate more sales. Obviously, we've ring fenced the budget. The budget has been spent, but it's been spent on a handful of SKUs, of items, rather than the product range that they were hoping for.
Yeah.
So not ideal. They weren't particularly happy, but they were understanding that we do run quite a technical setup for them. So things like this may happen from time to time, as I'm sure kind of everyone listening to this has encountered at some time in their careers. So it's just kind of working through the client and going, yes, okay, this has happened, hands up, but this is kind of how we're fixing it, and this is what we're putting in place to make sure it doesn't happen again. And I think that's the bit that the client values, the fact that we're going kind of over and above to make sure that it doesn't reoccur, and we're learning from the mistakes. And this is obviously a structure that other clients of ours, we kind of use for them as well. So it's learnings that we're taking across them as well. So they're now starting to use the reports that we built for this account to make sure that, no one else trips from it. It's all learning from each other and knowing kind of what to look out for.
That's amazing. And how long have you had this client? How long have you guys been working with this client?
So they were with us before I joined. I've been just over 4 years at Impression now. So we're talking probably five years or so.
Okay. And just in general, are they the kind of client who can be a bit difficult, or you expected them to be back on board after you guys put things in place?
So they've always been a very reactive client. So the vertical they're in, pricing between competitors changes almost daily.
Sure.
So they are really kind of quick to react to things. So if things aren't going well, they're not going well. We know about it, whether that's us as a channel or them as an overall business. So they are very, very active, very on it. So when things start to not go in the direction they should be, they are very quick to react. Now, obviously, over the last 4 years or so that I've been involved with the account, we have been very proactive and very kind of on it with them. So when comms come in, it's like, okay, this takes priority. We're making sure that their needs are met, and we're trying to be kind of using foresight to make sure we're ahead of the game and kind of reactive to those sort of things. So I think if they were a new client, then it could have been a very different conversation.
Sure, absolutely.
But I think because the track record we have with them, it was okay.
Yeah.
Everyone F's up.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
do we move forward from that?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're at right now.
Absolutely. And to just get a better understanding, this is something I kind of dig into with all guests, because I kind of want it to be like it's we're speaking from the horse's mouth. It's a person
Yeah.
who kind of was dealing with. So was this a personal mistake of yours or someone in your team kind of thing that did
So I channel in the account,
it? Okay.
and end of the day, the book ends with me. So
Sure.
if something's gone wrong,
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, this was a team effort, shall we say,
Sure.
which should have
Yeah.
been cool, but slipped.
Yeah. It's like also because those are really great lessons to think about in terms of like what you guys recovered from it. One thing I also like digging into is about what do you feel like was missed beforehand? Like how do you actually is there like would you say that there was something that if XYZ was checked before doing this, that mistake would not have happened, or it's one of those things, well, if you've just learned that that's what you now need to do, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both, if I'm completely honest. I think beforehand, more research from ourselves and the client in terms of the number of sales we're expecting from that brand. Because like I say, the rule that we use at the moment is a conversion in the last 30 days. So if that product hasn't converted in the last 30 days, it drops down. If it has, then it stays there. It's doing well. PMAX will push it as it does normally. So I think it would have been kind of with hindsight better for us to have pulled out that brand in a report and gone, okay, what does sales look like? Are all these products that they're asking us to push actually going to hit that 30 days? Like in between sales. And if they're not, do we need to adjust that rule? Does that need to be 40 days? Or actually, do they sell really well and do they need to be shorter?
Yeah.
You know, after 10 days, should this product have sold and it's collecting just in the warehouse? Like, do we need to adjust where that threshold is? So probably a bit more foresight on that one to kind of understand the product range and the brand and how that is currently sitting in the market, and understanding where the client's price points are with that. You know, are they race to the bottom in terms of they are the cheapest in the market? These are going to fly. We don't need to worry about it. Or are we priced the same as some of the other competitors in the market? In which case, it goes down to other factors. Who's got the fastest delivery, who's got the most stock, have they got the right colorway or whatever it may be for the individual products. So I think it's important to look at those factors, which aren't necessarily PPC factors. We're obviously all obsessed with the keyword and what the cost per click is and conversion rates, but actually there's so many other variables into it. Even down to things like site speed, which obviously sits well outside of our realm.
Technically SEO,
Correct. But that can have so much of a difference on somebody's experience. We as PPCs can bring traffic to the website. It's then not technically our job to get that sale, although we are obviously judged on sales through conversions. Getting them to press that checkout button isn't within our control.
No.
So I think a lot of people get very obsessed with kind of, we need to get sales, but I find our job is to drive traffic.
Yeah.
To drive the right traffic. Obviously, the more intent and the higher quality that traffic, the more likely they are to convert. At the end of the day, it's down to the website, and if that's not syncing as well as it should be, or it's not as easy to navigate, then that's going to create problems for us in reporting and those client conversations. But no, to bring it back around, it's understanding your product set and then the market that product set sits within, and then making sure that your campaign structure is suitable for that. So I think if they come to us again and say, we want to push this individual brand, I think we probably wouldn't take this approach in terms of breaking out a separate campaign. And we'd probably look at other ways of doing it, so whether that be, using SA360, which we're fortunate to have for this account, and looking at U variables or some other sort of levers we can pull to try and push those products a bit more aggressively. Or even take it out of PMAX's hands and look at search. If we're, so if these guys are in kind of a space where search is very much at SKU level, so people know the product code,
Yeah.
People who have done their research want their product codes for the product. So it's that very much, if we can generate ads that knowing those sort of keywords and those sort of interests, and people have been on review sites and building audiences from those, we can then start to be right at that bottom of the funnel. People who are really, really high intent for those products.
Yeah.
So actually, do we take a search approach rather than PMAX, which obviously, if it's an e-com client, which these guys obviously are, PMAX just seems like a no-brainer because it's shopping. But
Yeah.
actually, are there other campaign types which fit better into that individual client's needs?
Yeah.
So probably a little bit knee-jerk from us in terms of, oh yeah, I want to do that, yeah, we'll do it. Next day it's done, it's in the account, it's live.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's probably better to take a step and go, actually, is this the right choice for this account or for this client to do this?
Yeah.
And which, when the client sends emails or jumps on a meeting and we need to do this now, it's sometimes hard to push back.
Right.
But that's an important skill, which I'm sure people have spoken about previously as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Trying to push back with clients in terms of what is the latest best practice, because those things are changing all the time, and sometimes we're thinking about best practice that was 2022 best practice, and you're like, yeah, doesn't apply in 2025 anymore.
God.
Stop thinking in like old school best practice, what a client needs. And even if something but technically might be best practice, it's very important to look at your brand, the market, your history, seasonality factors, because what is best practice, updated best practice right now, might not be what your account needs, might not be what actually the client needs. And I really appreciate you even like touching on that whole, our main goal in terms of paid search, even SEO, all these channels, is to drive traffic, is the kind of things like CRO and and site optimization that then leads to sale. But obviously a client will tell us, hey, to the paid search person, to the SEO person, hey, the traffic you're driving is not driving sales. And unless we can try to actually be vocal in terms of like, or be proactive in how to actually improve that, our budget gets cut. And it's like, oh, but we are doing our jobs. We're sending the traffic. Why have you cut our budget? They're like, well, no sales. So it's really out in our best interest to work with the website developers, with even like SEO teams, like the people that actually do help with like on-page optimization, to be like, look, we're sending this traffic, but can you please give us the page that is going to be best performing for the traffic that we're bringing, and that way everybody wins. And so, yeah, no, I definitely think it's important that we definitely look beyond that whole, we send the traffic, so that's we've done our job. So yeah, that's important. So if someone is going through this issue right now, what's your advice to them? So like, they've seen that, the campaign that was supposed to have 40, 50 products only has 4, only has 5, and God, they're about to panic. Maybe they have a client that has only been with them for a year or less, and all of a sudden they're like, oh no, these guys might not be very understanding. What's your advice to that person?
Yeah, take a breath. Always take a breath. Like, as soon as that email comes in, it's like, okay, read through it. Something's happened. Okay, cool. Take a breath. The amount of people I've spoken to, I've worked with previously, where client has come through with panic email, and you end up, because that's a panic email, writing a panic response.
Yeah.
And then that just snowballs, and the panic levels then just get higher and higher. And obviously, as the panic levels get higher and higher, more and more sort of senior people get copied into emails, and that just escalates.
Not good. Yeah.
Nobody wants to be in that situation
No.
where the boss is then copied into an email thread, because that's going to come up. So take a breath. Whether it's, read it, okay. What I tend to do is I read it, I then jump into the account, I'll look at the data. I'm like, okay, what has gone wrong here? Where's the error? Or is there not an error and it's the client who's misunderstood the data? Because that happens regularly.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've all experienced that one. After that, draft your response. So write what you want to go back with. Then don't send it. Leave it in your drafts.
Okay.
Give it 10, 15 minutes, go for a walk, get a cup of tea, get a coffee, whatever you do, just get away from your screen.
Yeah.
It gives yourself a chance to relax
Yeah.
and actually think us through. Because actually you might come back, read that response and go, that's the wrong tone of voice. I need to change
Yeah.
that sentence. I need to do that.
Yeah.
Or actually the approach is knee jerk. Let's actually give this a little bit longer, because I don't think the bid strategies had long enough to learn. I don't think the budget is enough. I've just done a search and I've seen that 3 competitors are cheaper than others. Like, there's so many other factors which are often going on that the client's not potentially considered.
Yeah.
So always take a breath,
Yeah. Yeah.
draft your response,
Mm.
let it simmer, let it marinate,
Yeah.
come back, then send. 9 times out of 10, the client will be happier with that response because it's that more chill tone. It's considered. They can tell that you've thought about it. If you can get a couple of step actions, so you go, okay, this was the problem. This is why it happened. This is what we're going to do as a result. And this is what we're going to do to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
If you cover those 4 bases, again, 9 times out of 10 is going to be a positive reaction off the back of it.
Yeah.
I can't remember who I was speaking to, but someone said something really kind of that stuck with me. And it was, nothing calm comes from shouting voices.
Yeah.
So if you're shouting, that's never going to lead to a calm result.
Yeah.
So just if you take that approach to your emails, or even better in a call,
Yeah.
it is so much easier
Yeah.
to come across like you know what you're talking about and
Yeah.
get a calm result. If you're on a call or you're face to face, it's so much easier. Email, there's less context. You don't know how the tone of voice of it can come across wrong, particularly if they're fired up because they think they found a problem, you think they've done something wrong.
Yeah.
They're going to have that voice in their head when they're reading it.
Yeah.
So if you can get on a call, I would recommend it. If you don't want to get on a call because you think you're going to get your head bitten off, that's fair.
Yeah.
Do the email first and then book in a call for the next day when you've got time to get all your ducks in order.
Yeah.
Make sure the data backs up what you want to come across, and then approach the call after that.
That's a phrase. Nothing calm comes from shouting voices. I was going to even ask again, like, if there's one thing that we can leave people with, what it is, but I think that is it. That really is it. Nothing calm comes from shouting voices. So guys, remember that. Keep calm. Draft an email and don't set it right away. I love that too. Go for a walk. Think about it. Renate that email in your head as you're thinking, is that what the right thing I say? Is that the right advice? I love that. On that note, we're going to wrap up that story and we're going to tangent off now into your, wide experience and varied experience into what you've seen others do that have made you, raise eyebrow a little bit kind of thing, into like mistakes. And even especially in the, era of, everybody wanted to try something AI in their accounts. What's some of like the biggest, like, F-ups that people make, especially tactical, like just settings that people place that they just forget that no, that's like we talked earlier on, best practices change all the time.
Yeah.
Like, so what have you seen that you feel people are still working in the old way of best practices and not in the latest ways?
Yeah, I think, like you say, the speed that best practice changes is crazy. I mean, if you look at kind of the changes in Google Ads, it used to be, every 3 months there was a new setting, or every year there might be a new campaign type. Now it is literally like every 2 weeks. Google, it's a new setting here, and AI has been added to that, and you can now do this, and it is almost impossible to keep on top of in terms of what's coming out. But I think with a lot of it, it's people not fully understanding. So that Google makes it so easy. It's a little tick. 9 times out of 10, the things that they add in are tick boxes. So it's like, enable this. And it's like, okay, I can enable that. Click. Or worse still, the client goes and does it themselves. I'm sure everyone has been in that situation where a client's email said, I've had this recommendation from, or an email, or if Google account manager's got in touch, and enable this auto recommendation. It's like,
no,
don't do it. Don't do it.
God, auto recommendations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So So yeah, so I think people have got to research, got to look out for newsletters. Obviously, LinkedIn is a massive source of
Yeah.
new information and kind of where to get those updates from. So fully understand what you're enabling on an account or what
Mm.
the new feature is before you either pitch it to the client or you enable it in the account yourself.
Yeah.
If it is a new feature, so like AI Max, for example, for search, big waves for that. Kind of the new version of DSAs and broad
Yeah.
match in
Yeah.
together in a nutshell. Like that is literally a tick box.
Yeah.
As simple as that. If you are running it in an experiment, by the way, just in case you've not used it before, it doesn't create a separate experiment campaign. It just runs it within the single campaign and just
Yeah.
distributes the budget depending on what you set it as. So I know that's quite out a couple of people I've spoken to.
Right.
Yeah, so understand what you're doing on an account, I think is the
Yeah.
first one, because not understanding is kind of leads to a lot of mistakes or a lot
Yeah.
of unintended outcomes, shall we say.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be my main one. Just make sure you know what you're doing, and if you're not
Yeah.
sure, find out.
Wait, find out and wait. Almost like with the whole, sending an email and waiting. Like literally, I think people underestimate patience in our
Mm,
industry. Just be patient with all these kind of things. Some of my favorite like experts in this field, the likes of like Jill Saskin Gales or Ami Cabra, that they'll say that when these campaigns types start out, they're a mess. PMAX was a hot mess. It's my
serious
favorite
hot mess.
when it started, and I felt like genuinely Google were like, okay, we've not figured this out at all.
Yeah,
So we'll
I
just
think they still
release
are.
it. Yeah, right? But at least it's better now. At least they've given us some, controls to put in place and that kind of thing. But these kind of things, they didn't they're gonna bring it out and you're going to be the testers. We're the QA for
Yeah,
Google a lot of the time for these tools. And sometimes, depending on your client, you don't want to be the QA for your client. So it's worth just pausing and just taking a breather, look at, and what I love about our community is that people like to talk more about this didn't work. I did this way. This didn't work. So look out for all those posts. LinkedIn can be a bit of a nightmare place with everybody trying to DM you with some random sales pitch.
yeah,
But if you follow the right people, you hear people talking about what they're testing in terms of all these new campaign types. And that really helps you stay ahead, pause at the right time, go at the right time, that kind of thing, and test the right thing. So guys, pay attention. LinkedIn is not just for people looking for jobs. It's people talking about real tests that they're doing.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 No, so my first agency, I was the only person doing PPC
Okay.
from scratch. I knew nothing. My background was kind of a little bit in social at that point.
Yeah.
So I was completely self-taught, if you like, within
Right.
PPC to start with until I got to impression. So the majority of stuff I learned was through reading stuff on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
blog posts, webinars,
Yeah.
things like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely a wealth of knowledge out there. It is, like I say, just finding the right people to listen to and to follow. But yeah, that's with new things coming out. That's where I see the most mistakes. I think the
Mm.
most common mistakes is obviously always going to be budget.
Yeah.
I don't think you've worked in PPC. I don't think anyone's worked in PPC and not made a budget mistake at some point. But even that, that's I see those as silver lining opportunities. So like if you've overspent, which is obviously the usual one, underspending, people don't normally mind that one.
Yeah.
Overspending is the issue.
Yeah.
But you can still, if it's e-com, you can still calculate what the ROAS was for that additional
Yeah.
spend,
Yeah.
and work out if that was incremental and worth it. In which case, there's argument then to increase the budget on a
Yeah.
more regular basis.
Yeah.
Or if it's more lead gen focused, then you can go into GA4 if you have it set up,
Yeah.
and look at segments and actually understand what did that additional traffic then go on to do. So like actually, if we overspent 3 weeks ago and you've seen an uptick in sales last week,
Mm.
is
Mm.
that people coming back to site from that overspend?
Yeah.
So actually you can still demonstrate that impact and that value from that overspend and that additional traffic and what that goes on to do. So actually you can turn what looks like a bad situation for the client into almost frame it as a test.
Yeah.
Which, again, is another hot topic in kind of like incremental testing and getting those gains. So yes, there's lots of opportunity to take those mistakes.
Yeah.
And still show.
Yeah. Now coming to like before we wrap up, we're coming to the stage where like you've got you've talked about so many like interesting things, and even like we're going back and forth like I like to do. So apologies, listeners. This is my
Go for
fault. It's like kind of going back to the story of the effort, but also like how you guys really got to that finish line of like turning the client around. Because you said that you're the buck ends with you. You're the channel head, so that means people must have quite a bit of trust of like, if they make a mistake, they're not gonna cower and hide about it. They're gonna be like, okay, this has happened. And I do think that in our industry, we don't hear a lot of people talking about mistake. It's always like, we won this client, we did this, we hit this revenue target, our CPA is the lowest it's ever been, blah, blah, blah. How do you foster a team who are not like shaking in their boots in terms of like, any mistake that could happen? And because I imagine we've talked at this ad nauseum, I'm not even going to be like, what's the main thing? Because the main thing is communicating, make sure you're open and honest about things. Like speaking to managers of teams, what's your advice to them to encourage that they do foster that open communication?
Great question. I think one thing I do with my team, so within this account, we have a fair sized team on it. The ways of working nowadays, a lot of people work from home, different offices, those sort of things. I'm fortunate in the team that I have on this account, we're all based in the Nottingham office for Impression.
Right.
So I make sure that once a month we all come in as a team and we have a 2-hour afternoon blocked out, boardroom, and we work through the account.
Yeah.
So we said, right, okay, this month, these are the priorities, these are the tasks that we need to do, these are the campaigns we need to build, these are the audiences we need to delve more deeper into to understand, how they're interacting.
Yeah.
And we kind of just all work together around the same table, working on the same account, which, this job, particularly when you are working from home or you work in coffee shops or wherever, it can feel quite isolating.
Yes.
And when an issue comes up, such as, the one we spoke about, that can then feel very much, that's on my shoulders, and it all feels very kind of heavy.
Yeah.
Whereas actually, if you've got the team and you've got that rapport with everybody, and you are doing that kind of collaborative approach to an account and literally being in the same room, all of a sudden it's what's the saying? Problem shared is problem halved.
Yeah.
Well, you take that across 5-6 people. That's all of a sudden
a
lot less of a problem for everybody to muck in and help out with.
Yeah.
So I think that's the main one. Make sure your team is tight in terms of working together. I always try and buddy people up as well.
Nice.
So, if you've got someone who's slightly more senior and someone who's junior, right, okay, we've got this campaign build. Can you work on it? Can you make sure that they, jump on screen share and you go through it together, and building up that rapport and that team bonding, which again is probably back to the basketball days, probably to show in terms of the team approach.
Yeah.
It all comes around.
For sure.
I think that is a big part of it, making sure you're working together and no one feels like they're isolated. Within the team or even within the department. And obviously when you're working on smaller accounts, so perhaps only 1 or 2 people, it can feel like it's very kind of isolating. So you need to make sure that I've got that collaboration and that openness to work with people. I know I've spoken to a couple of colleagues who jump on screen shares with other people in the department, even some people who aren't in the department, like in quite organic or something like that. Not necessarily working on the same account, but just to feel like there's somebody else in the room with them. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just human nature to want interaction and to want that collaboration. And if you do get stuck on something, sometimes you just need to have somebody as a sounding board to go, what's going on here? I don't know what I'm doing. And then they go,
Yeah.
what have you thought about this? What about that? And you go, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Cool, cheers. You crack on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's one thing in, I don't want to say the modern era because that feels a bit like post-COVID.
Right. First go, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is saying that some people have adapted to brilliantly. I think other people do still struggle, and a lot of companies are still getting that. Do we work from
Yeah.
home? Do we work from the office? What's the balance? 2, 3,
Yeah.
1, 4. Yeah. What should it be?
Yeah.
So I think there's still a lot of people working through that, and I think that can then add on to situations like this, and those kind of potential stress levels. But one thing I've always said to kind of anyone who's been in any of my teams, whether you're dealing with a client, whether that's marketing manager, head of, or CEO, if you're going on smaller companies where the CEO or the MD is still involved, it doesn't matter who they are, how much they earn, what their job title is. We all breathe the same air.
Yeah.
Just because they've got that job or they've got that title doesn't mean that they know any more than you do, or they're any better than you, or they're any more important than you.
No.
It doesn't matter what you do. We all breathe the exact same air.
No.
So take a minute, relax, and move forward.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's amazing. I feel like your team are very lucky to have you leading them, because genuinely, it's a lot more pressure on managers to just, it's not. I feel like at the beginning it felt like a bit like, oh, my manager wants to make sure I'm doing my job, and that they're trying to micromanage me, and that's why they. But really, it is very much about the collaborative field. The whole. You're not on your own. Yeah, the introverts love this era. And they're like, I know you get it. But because you're an introvert doesn't mean that you want to not feel like you're part of a team. You still want to feel like you're part of something bigger. And that's hard to do by just emails or even Slack messages. That can be hard. So the once in a while where you can just come together and be like, okay, this is my people. These are the people that I'm actually doing work with. I think it definitely makes a difference. Yeah, we're getting a little bit over time, but don't worry. This has been such a, amazingly great information, great advice, spoken to all the different, people that works in teams, whether it's managers or juniors or client side. I think we've got a really great full funnel view of how to approach a mistake, how to approach getting people to work better together, how to recover from the mistakes. So thank you so much, Dave, for that. And yeah, as you said you've got an answer ready for this one. So I'm so excited for this next question. So Dave, if your PPC career were a movie, what would be the title?
So I've lent into the 2-career basketball then PPC. So I've gone with the crossover.
All right.
From court to clicks.
From court to click. I love that. The crossover from court to clicks. I love that. That is absolutely fantastic.
Nice.
Sometimes I need to ask, my guests, what do you mean by that? But I get it. All the story that you've given us so far makes so much sense. The crossover, court to click. So remember that. So where can people find you? Can people find you on LinkedIn? Are you active on there? Are you active on anywhere else?
Yeah, no, LinkedIn's the main place to find me. I think the URL nowadays is Dave-Alexander-PPC.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. We'll add the link in the show notes. So don't worry necessarily about remembering all that. You'll be able to see that in the show notes for this. But yeah, on that note, thank you so much, Dave, for joining us today. This has been such an excellent chat. Yeah. Thank you.
No, I appreciate you having me.
Thank you so much, Dave, for that fantastic retelling of that story, how you came out of it, and your really great advice as to how to keep a team involved, engaged, and feeling collaborative in their work so that they see others, even their managers, their seniors, making mistakes, talking about those mistakes, recovering quickly from those mistakes so that they know how not to be too scared, about mistakes that happen. So remember, write, pause, then send. I think that's a key phrase to remember in terms of when at the possibility of a mistake happening. So yeah, for full information and the full transcript and all the show notes about that fantastic chat, please go to podcast.ppc.live to get all those details and to really pause at sometimes and, read through exactly what we're saying. Because that was such a fantastic show to bookmark when you're feeling the fear of a mistake. Yeah, in terms of our PPC Live events, there we are 2 weeks, just under 2 weeks away from our early bird sale ending for PPC Live 18. PPC Live 18 is happening on October 22nd. That's going to be a Wednesday, October 22nd. So please don't miss that. That's going to be our last event of the year. So just go to ppc.live for your early bird ticket sales. I'm also delighted to share that I am taking on coaching clients. So PPC Mindset coaching clients, just go to themarketinganu.com or DM me on my LinkedIn to get more info about that. It's just about really helping those in the PPC industry, getting ahead, taking control of your career and knowing how to really push past those obstacles that might not even be your manager, might not even be the company, might be our own selves. So, if you need help with that, let me know. So yeah, just go to themarketingandrew.com or check out my LinkedIn and go to my DMs. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that episode and I look forward to sharing more PPC F-ups and triumphs next week. Thank you. Bye.